There were 4 kings of this concrete jungle. All the guys are safe from the loser board. There's no watering it down. Murr is tonight's big loser. No one looked out for Q, so he got chased onto the loser board. E.T. phone home. Q's getting punished. Sal and Joe didn't get the green light, so they're first up on the loser board. No one shopped till they dropped, but Joe and Sal are still getting punished. Murr failed this oral exam, so he's first up on the loser board. He who laughs last gets punished. And that's Murr. Sal didn't dress for success, so he's first up on the loser board. Sal's got a message in his inbox. He's tonight's big loser. Joe went up in smoke, so he's first up on the loser board. Virtual reality bites for Q and Sal, so they're up on the loser board. Joe couldn't pass the buck, which makes him tonight's big loser. Joe couldn't sink his teeth into a win, so he's first up on the loser board. Q put fashion before fishing, so he and Sal are tonight's big losers. Q got customer served, so he's first up on the loser board. Q and Murr were hung out to dry, so they're up on the loser board. It was touch and go for Joe, but Q is still tonight's big loser. Murr got caught, so he's hiding out on the loser board. There's no way to sugarcoat it. Murr's back up on the loser board. Joe got schooled, but Murr is still tonight's big loser. Murr was his own laugh track, so he's on the fast track to the loser board. Murr's proposal got poo-pooed, so he's getting punished. Sal and Q failed this eye exam, so they're first up on the loser board. Listen to this. Sal is tonight's big loser. Q, Sal, and Joe are giggling all the way to the loser board. The only reward for Joe is another thumbs down, which means he's tonight's big loser. This was no piece of cake for Sal and Joe, so they're first up on the loser board. Murr and Sal couldn't clean up their act, making Sal tonight's big loser. Q had to force quit this one, so he's first up on the loser board. All the guys' claims were denied, so Q is tonight's big loser. Joe and Murr were robbed, so they're first up on the loser board. That one response couldn't save Joe from losing this episode. He's tonight's big loser. This genetic test showed that Q is a loser. Q rolled out of bed just in time to get punished. All the guys got dinged up, but Murr and Q are in the fast lane to Loserville. Joe and Murr couldn't get an upload, so Murr is the hashtag loser. Q and Sal couldn't get to the bottom of this challenge, so they're first up on the loser board. All the guys got the shout out, so Q and Sal are still the leaders on the loser board. Murr and Sal learned a valuable lesson, making Sal tonight's big loser. Murr and Sal went wheels up, so they're riding straight to the loser board. All 4 guys hit a firewall, making Murr tonight's big loser. Q went from dining to whining because he's first up on the loser board. Murr, Q, and Sal were exiled to the loser board, which means Q's getting punished. Murr kept a straight face, sending the other guys straight to the loser board. Joe barked up the wrong tree, so he's tonight's big loser. Time heals all wounds, but that won't keep Q and Murr off the loser board. Love was a battlefield for Joe, Sal, and Q, making Q tonight's big loser. Sal got caught with his pants down, so he's first up on the loser board. Breaking news, Joe is joining Sal on the loser board. Sal's no Boy Scout, so he's tonight's big loser. Murr couldn't muscle his way out of this one, so he's first up on the loser board. Q and Murr had the hosts with the least, so Murr is tonight's big loser. It's a no-brainer. Q and Sal are first up on the loser board. Joe's no kingpin, so he's up on the loser board.
This is a bad choice.
That's a bad choice, because we looked at the episode, Matt, and you have lost this episode, my friend. Your punishment starts now.